3X Lex, 3X Lex, 3X Lex for 3X Tech. All right, guys, back in the building. I'm back with another more in-depth impression of the Super Console X Pro. All right, I've moved it to my main 55-inch Dragon Slayer, Excalibur Dragon Slayer here. Integrated it to the arcade cabinet, and it's working great. I have to say, now that I have this on a decent television, on a good TV, as in comparison to the smaller Insignia display, which is a lower end display than TCL, I'm quite impressed with the picture quality overall. We're at 1080p 60 hertz here, and the video quality is superb. It actually rivals the PC for video quality, I will say. Sound quality is solid, really good. Now that I have it hooked up to my stereo. So from that perspective, the audio video experience is actually pretty good. This device is very interesting. I've talked a lot about it in the last two videos. It's very interesting. I'll say this. The more that I dive into it, the more I see stuff that I like and I don't like. So I've spent some more time with Dreamcast, PSP, and all of those, and Atomic Wave. And in my opinion, those particular platforms are just pretty much just going to remain a crapshoot. I've done like a lot of alterations and adjustments, and there's really not too much you could do to get them to run faster. So, I would recommend that those probably be, for the most part, avoided. The Atomic Wave is okay, but all three of those platforms, PlayStation Portable, Dreamcast, Atomic Wave, and Naomi, all four, they have a tendency to crash this unit. They're really pushing the limits of this unit. The unit itself is pretty limited. It's it's older hardware. It's only 1 gig of RAM, and I know that's really affecting the performance when you get to those systems. You definitely need more than 1 gig of RAM. The specs are very low for the Super Console X Pro, and I'm not surprised that it struggles with that. And I'm actually impressed it's able to do so well with PlayStation 1 and it's more importantly N64. But that's really impressive. It does as well with N64. PS1 isn't super demanding, but still. Anyway, temperature-wise, it's done really good from what I can tell. Yeah, we're at about 63. That's normal. So that's with this on top of connected to Cooler Master cooling pad. That keeps it in an acceptable range. I just backed out of a game. It hovers on the cooling pad. It hovers from somewhere around 53 to, I want to say, probably like 67, 68, which is a safe zone. Up to about 72 is the safe zone. Once you get over there, you're getting really high for temps, and like 80, you're like pretty much throttling the device. And at that point, it's gonna be cutting the longevity down of any electronic CPU or PC or anything at that continued throttle of temperatures that high. So 60 is pretty normal though for a game, like when running a game. So that's good. So cooling, I haven't had too much of a problem with the cooling pad solution. Still back to the games, tons of games, just games up the wazoo. more games you can shake a stick at. To get a little bit more in depth about what you can expect, and I've talked about this before a little bit. All the Atari stuff is good. That stuff is good. You're going to be good with their Thomas Wave 7 games. They run good for the most part, a little slow down, but they have a tendency to want to crash this device. At which point, you will have to reset the device. And you'll have to restart and reset the device. And that really isn't something you want to have to do all the time. So play those particular platforms with caution. It doesn't do it all the time, but it has definitely happened a few times, so I've noticed it. In other platforms, I haven't noticed it crashing like that. There's a few bad games I ran into when I tried to open and they wanted to crash the device, but for the most part, the lower-end devices have been great. Also, I'm running the Crystal Emulat theme here, and it looks good. It looks great. The only problem with this theme is it's actually slower. So navigating it is slower. So it's pretty slow, to be honest, in comparison to the standard Emulat theme. So also moving through the games is a little bit slower also. Yeah, this theme, navigating this theme is overall just a slower experience than the standard one. But it still works good. It's not like a real big delay or anything. So check out Street Fighter 3. All right, new generation. Hey, one of the most iconic Street Fighters. It was many iconic Street Fighter games, but hey, the Street Fighter 3 series is one of my favorites. This game had a lot of hype behind it when it first debuted. It took a long time to come out, that's for sure. It seemed like it was a million Street Fighters between Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 3. Shows a phenomenal looking game though. As far as 2D art animation, it just was beautiful. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, performance in these MAME games, these classic MAME games from pretty much the 90s are top tier. Performance wise, it's great. Yeah, even running something like Street Fighter 3, this is definitely pushing it as far as MAME is concerned. This was a CPS 3 game. So this is a pretty demanding board. So MAME pretty much most of all of the MAME collection is here. One thing you won't get though, you don't get the 3D MAME games. So like Tekken 1, 2, 3, Tag, you do get those on PlayStation and they run good. But you don't get the arcade versions. This board isn't strong enough to run 3D MAME. 3D MAME is way too demanding for this board. So you definitely will have to go with a PC build pretty much to run 3D MAME. 3D MAME is a heavy lift, to be honest. Well, yeah, the Tekken games, Groove on Fight, the Golden Axe fighting games, Ergeist, all of those games you won't see on here. So no 3D MAME, Radiant Silver Gun. So you do miss those. So it really comes down to like what you deem as, you know, important. That uppercut. So if you want to exit out, you can. Pretty easy to get in and out. Overall though, even minus this theme, just compared to the PC, the navigation is slower. You know, going back to the basic theme, you know, I upgraded the car with a faster car. All those things helped out. It was like molasses at first. But overall, you know, it's just the navigation is slower, but it's a much less powerful device, so it's not really a surprise. It's fine though. It's kind of one of those things, if you don't know what you're missing, you won't miss it. So it's kind of like that. They have a folder pretty much for every dedicated emulator. So I like how they really have the option to split up all of the games for each category, and it's very detailed even by emulator. So, you know, that's really cool too. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of and switching the emulators for a lot of games too, versus playing them in the arcade only section. But that's gonna come up to you and you know, how you want to navigate the system and choose games. Yeah, over 500 DS games. All right, Neo Geo is loaded. Like even all the Japanese only games, really obscure stuff, is super loaded. Oh, let's check out Blazing Star. I don't think I ever showed off Blazing Star. Probably, maybe the best Neo Geo 2D shooter ever. All of the Neo stuff works great. It's pretty light lift, so yeah, Blazing Star is very underrated, that's for sure. Very old school 2D shooter. All right, let me back out of this. Dope shooter. I can play that all day. All right. So, great device. Below, up to N64, it does everything you needed to do. I definitely want to dig into it a little bit more. So maybe I'll push out a little bit more content on it. I definitely want to go through some more of the platforms and really go in depth about what's there to offer. Game list wise, on the lower platforms is kind of similar to the PC builds. So it's a wealth of content, that's for sure. So, all right, guys, I ain't gonna make this one too long. Just more thoughts, more info, more game on the Super Console Pro X. And hey, stay tuned and look forward to more content. Peace.